Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to be trying to set up the 8bitdo SFC30 Gamepad. This is the one that looks the same as the SNES Gamepad, and we're going to be setting it up with the Nintendo Switch. So hopefully if we set it up correctly we should be able to use it wirelessly to the Nintendo Switch. Now it hasn't been set up before and I don't know how hard or easy it is to do. I believe we need to update the firmware on it using, I'm going to be using this little Windows 10 GPD Pocket. It's a nice little Windows 10 mini computer. So let's unbox it and see what we've got inside. If you want to pause and look at anything, you can do it in your own time. Right, it looks like nice packaging. We've got some instructions here in various different languages. So it's only this bit here in English. We'll leave that out. Now we've got our controller here. A couple of little LEDs. And it looks like we've got something at the bottom here. Right, we've got two boxes. Right, so in this one we've just got a keyring, so we don't need that at the moment. And I presume in this one here we've got the USB cable. Yeah, here it is, and it's a micro USB, and it's a flat style cable, quite nice. Right, okay, let's put all that to one side. Now, if you have a look here, it says firmware upgrade for Windows and Mac. Is to upgrade the firmware, please visit www.8bitdo.com. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Right, so I'm going to go to www.8bitdo.com and I'm going to go to support. So on this little laptop here I can also use it as a touch screen. Look into this, it's a real nice little product. And what I'm going to do is, if I find my controller here, if you scroll up and down you can see all the different ones that they do. So this is my one here, and it's got a manual, but I don't want the manual, so I'm going to go to firmware. So if I click on firmware here, and I've got firmware 3, version 3 and version 4. So I'm going to go to version 4, left click, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. So save as, I'm going to go to my desktop, shouldn't take long, and now I'm going to go to open, and I've got a readme and update tool. So I'm going to click on update tools, and I'm going to click on Windows, and it says here 8bitdo update. So I'm going to double click on that and extract all. Right, so now that's extracted, and now I'm going to go to update tools again, go to Windows, and now click on that. I have to allow it. Right, it says here hold start and L and R for 3 seconds. Blue and green LEDs will blink. Then I have to connect to PC via USB cable and then click USB update button and select firmware file. Okay, so I'm going to press start L and R. So this is start, this is an L and R for 3 seconds. So that's 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, and it says here that blue and green LEDs will blink, and they did blink to begin with. Oh, there you go, blue and green. Right, okay. and it says here connect to PC via USB cable. So on this little PC I've got my USB port at the side here, so I'm going to plug in the USB cable to there, and the micro USB I'm going to plug into the top like so. It says here setting up device. The device is undergoing additional setup. Right, it says here click USB update button and select firmware file. So I'm going to click on USB update. It says here sound recordings. So if I go up to the top here and click on here, and if I scroll down, it does say here SNES 30 plus SFC30 firmware version 4. So I'm going to click on that, and I presume now I click on that one there and go to open. New firmware 4 and current is 2.72. So I'm going to press OK. Let's see what happens. Right, I can see that the blue line is working its way across, so this is going to take a while, so I'll just fast forward through this. Okay, it says firmware upgraded, so I'm going to press OK. Right, so I'm hoping now it will work, so let me just get out of that, and I'm just going to do the readme file again. Right, so we've got 4 unique modes. So to put it into Nintendo Switch mode, we need to hold start and Y for 1 second. LED will blink 4 times per cycle. Okay, it is actually quite straightforward. So after it's done the update with the blue bar moving across, you then have to unplug it from the laptop like I did, but then you have to restart the device. So you're going to be holding down the start button for a little while until it turns itself off. So this is what it was doing earlier. You just need to hold down the start button to turn it off, and then what we need to do is we need to go over to the Switch, and using your Joy-Con or a Pro controller we need to navigate over to controllers, press A, we need to go to change grip order, and this time what we have to do is you have to hold down start and Y, and it does actually sync up pretty quick, so you need to hold it down for a couple of seconds, and then when I let go of it you will see that it will start blinking rapidly, the blue light, and it might only do 1 cycle before it connects up to the Switch. So I'm going to hold it down now, that's start and Y. So holding it down, 1 and 2, and then let go. And can you see it's rapidly blinking? And now, there you go, it's paired up. So if I press A, we have now got it working, press B, on the Nintendo Switch. So let's say now if I'm in a different setting, and let's say if I want to get back to the home menu, because there is no home menu here, you just press select and down on the directional pad. So select and down, and there you go, it's brought up that bit there because I pressed it for too long. So let's just get out of that and select and down, and it brings it down there. Hold it down a bit more and you will go into your sleep mode menu, just like the home button here when you hold it down. Right, let's go and check out the actual buttons themselves and see what happens on them. See if they are working as they should be. So I'm going to go down to test input devices, test controller buttons. So let's start at the top. L, R, left directional pad. Okay, so that's not coming up with anything. Let me try select is minus, start is plus, B, Y, X and A. So it's not coming up with the directional pad. Let me just get out of this and try that again, because the directional pad definitely is working. Yeah, so it doesn't recognise the directional pad up there. So I suppose it's kind of working like the left analog stick, because that's not recognised up there. Right, okay. So I can't test these buttons, but I can see from here that it is working like it should be. So let's go to home again. Yes, that works quite well. So it's only going to work on limited games. It's going to work on the old Neo Geo games, because with those ones there, you only need the directional pad and normally just 3 buttons. So on something like Street Fighter, it's going to work because we've got our 3 buttons for the punches and 3 buttons for the kicks and the directional pad. So let's try that one. That's punch, that's kick. So those two are kick and these two are punch. That's punch and that's punch, right, okay. Yes, it seems nice and responsive. Right, that works pretty good. So the good thing about this is it works on so many different things. The Switch, Windows, iOS, Android. So what I'm planning to do with this is on emulators, on for example your Android phone, then it's going to be nice if you're playing an old Wonder Boy game or something like that on the Sega Master System emulator, then it's going to be nice using a controller like this. So there we have it. Let's go to home again. Just going to do a quick range check just to see how far it's going to work. Right, okay, well that was 8 meters away and it still works 8 meters away. I'm just going to go to a different room. Now the range on that was actually very good. I've just been to every room of the downstairs of my house and it didn't lose sync, and I could still control the screen here. So for example, I went to the furthest point, went over this way and it moved over. I don't know whether it was jerky or not because I wasn't here to see, but it definitely didn't lose sync. Normally with the Pro Controller, when I go into my extension downstairs, because it goes through an outside wall, it loses sync all the time, but this didn't appear to. So from that little quick test, it actually seems to have better range than the Pro Controller, which is pretty impressive. So although it isn't very straightforward to set up, once you have got it set up, it does look relatively easy to do. And to turn it off, I'm just going to hold down the start, and you can see now that it's turned itself off. And now to turn it back on again, let's see if it syncs up without me having to go to the pair controller. So let me just turn the switch off. Sleep mode. There. Now let's see if it can wake up the switch by going select and down. No, so it's not waking up the switch. But let me turn the switch on. Let me press start and let's see if that will sync up without the switch being on. Okay, so it definitely can't wake the switch up. But let me wake up the switch from here. Let me turn this on now and see if it will sync up. No, so it doesn't automatically sync up. Let me press start and Y without going to the pair screen. Right, that's off. Let me put it on again. Yep, and it's done it. So you don't have to go to the pair screen, but it looks like every time you turn it on, you do have to press start and Y. So let me just try that again. Right, so I've turned it off now. Let me get it back to the home screen. Right, so I'm back on the home screen there, and now I'm going to turn this on by pressing start and Y for a couple of seconds. 1 and 2. There we go, it's connected. Yeah, so it is actually quite straightforward. It's a shame that you can't just press start, but the reason is because you have to do it on different devices. So remember when we looked at the instructions to begin with, it said here that to hold start, that's for Mac, Windows and Android, but then for iOS you have to press hold start and A for 2 seconds. Obviously on the Switch you have to press start and Y for a couple of seconds. So as long as you remember that, then you're all good to go. So yeah, I quite like this controller, and I love the fact that you can connect it to different devices, so I'm really going to use this a lot when it comes to Android and also PC gaming as well. Right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care, bye now.